When Joseph Sikar, a humble electrician from Chennai, rescued 4 injured parakeets, he had no idea his act of compassion would transform his life. What began as a simple good deed blossomed into something extraordinary, a phenomenon that would eventually earn him the title Birdman of Chennai. Joseph lived on a quiet street in Triplicane, one of the oldest neighborhoods in Chennai, a coastal city in southern India. He made his living as an electrician while pursuing his passion for photography on the side. There was nothing particularly remarkable about Joseph's life until that fateful morning when everything changed. It was just after dawn when Joseph brewed his morning coffee and stepped onto his terrace to enjoy the cool air. That's when he noticed something unusual in the corner. A splash of vibrant emerald green that seemed out of place among the sparse furnishings of his terrace. As he approached, his eyes widened in surprise. 4 emerald green parakeets huddled together in the corner, their feathers battered and wings visibly damaged. Joseph was puzzled by their presence. While parakeets were common in Chennai, they typically kept their distance from humans, only occasionally swooping down to snatch food scraps before quickly flying away. The region had recently been devastated by a powerful typhoon. Although Joseph's home had been spared, many buildings were destroyed, and both humans and animals had suffered. Looking at the battered birds, Joseph realized they must have been victims of the storm, their injured wings preventing them from flying. Without hesitation, Joseph went inside to find something to feed them. Having no bird seed on hand, he offered them rice, which they eagerly accepted, chirping appreciatively as they ate. That simple act of kindness marked the beginning of an extraordinary relationship. For several days, the parakeets remained on Joseph's terrace, growing stronger with each passing day as he provided them with food and water. Joseph took pleasure in observing their progress from across the terrace, proud of the small role he played in their recovery. "I wasn't sure they would survive," Joseph later recalled, "but I wanted to give them a fighting chance." Gradually, the parakeets began testing their wings. After several failed attempts, they started regaining their ability to fly, venturing short distances before returning to the safety of the terrace. What Joseph found most remarkable was how they had lost their fear of him. Instead of fleeing at his approach, they seemed to recognize him as their benefactor. As the parakeets grew more comfortable, they began to attract attention. Neighbors stopped by to marvel at the unusual sight of wild birds so comfortable around a human. "There is clearly a divine trust between Joseph and these birds," one neighbor commented. "It shows that kindness transcends species. The world needs more people like Joseph, who make it a better place in their own small way." Joseph had never owned pets before, but found himself growing attached to the parakeets. He enjoyed their company and took satisfaction in caring for them. However, not everyone appreciated the new arrangement. Joseph's landlord was displeased upon learning about the birds and demanded that Joseph either remove them or find another place to live. Before Joseph could decide how to handle this dilemma, the parakeets made the choice for him. One morning, he watched with mixed emotions as all 4 birds perched on the edge of his terrace railing, and then, one by one, flew away toward the sea. Joseph felt a pang of sadness as he turned back to his empty terrace. He had grown fond of his feathered friends, but he also felt a sense of accomplishment. He had helped them survive, and now they were strong enough to return to their natural habitat. At least his landlord would be satisfied. Life returned to normal for a couple of weeks. Then something extraordinary happened. The 4 parakeets returned, but they weren't alone. They brought a few friends with them. The next day, even more birds appeared. Day after day, the number increased as if the original 4 were spreading the word about the safe haven they had found. Initially, after the first 4 flew away, 5 or 10 parakeets would come, Joseph explained. Soon, within a year, more than 1,000 parakeets were visiting regularly. Now, at least 300 parakeets come here in any season. The numbers fluctuated with the weather. During the rains, their numbers swell up to even 6,000, Joseph said. During cyclones, these numbers increase further. They dislike the heat, so more come during the winter and rainy seasons. Joseph's terrace transformed into a vibrant gathering place for parakeets of all ages. They would arrive in waves, covering every available surface, creating a living tapestry of emerald green against the urban backdrop of Chennai. Word spread about the Birdman of Chennai and his extraordinary connection with the wild parakeets. People from across the city, and eventually from other parts of India, came to witness the spectacular sight. Joseph's landlord, despite his initial objections, eventually accepted the situation after seeing how much positive attention it brought. For Joseph, the daily ritual of feeding and caring for the parakeets became an integral part of his life. He allocated a significant portion of his modest income to purchase rice and other grains for his feathered visitors. On days when finances were tight, generous neighbors and admirers would contribute to ensure the birds never went hungry. As years passed, Joseph's commitment never wavered. Rain or shine, he was there for his avian friends. His photography skills came in handy as he documented the remarkable phenomenon, capturing stunning images of the parakeets in flight, feeding and resting on his terrace. Researchers and ornithologists took interest in this unusual relationship between humans and wild birds. They noted how the parakeets' behavior challenged conventional understanding of these typically wary creatures. Joseph's terrace became not just a feeding station, but a case study in interspecies trust. "I believe they remember," Joseph said when asked why he thought the birds kept returning. "These parakeets are intelligent creatures. The original four must have told others about their experience here, that this was a place of safety and kindness." What makes Joseph's story so remarkable is not just the scale of what happened, thousands of birds choosing to visit one man's terrace, but the powerful message it conveys about the ripple effects of compassion. One small act of kindness toward 4 injured birds multiplied beyond anything Joseph could have imagined. Today, years after rescuing those first 4 parakeets, Joseph still marvels at the extraordinary turn his ordinary life has taken. What began as a simple good deed has defined his identity and purpose. "I never expected any reward for helping those birds," Joseph reflects. "Their return with so many others is a gift I never anticipated but treasure every day." The Birdman of Chennai reminds us that kindness, even in its simplest form, has the power to transform lives, not just for those who receive it, but for those who give it as well. In a world often focused on grand gestures, Joseph Secar's story is a powerful reminder that sometimes the most meaningful changes begin with the smallest acts of compassion.